So I'm going to talk about security burnout. So I know I'm standing between you and the beer gardens right now. I thought this picture is, I'm out, and I'm sure you're burned out from today, from all the information you've been exposed, which has been really great topics. So this should be an easy topic that's not technical. I guess I don't have the thing. That's okay. Okay. No, I'm fine. It's okay. Okay. I do have a disclaimer up here just to let you know these are my opinions, not the opinions of the companies or organizations I have worked for. I don't need it. Thank you. So job burnout is really just a buildup of where you're tired of your job from an emotional and physical state. And we can really replace job with security burnout because it's the same concept and definition. But why are we there? Security is hard. If we look at the evolution of security, we started off as firewall guys, right? And then we started off as IDS, IPS individuals. And then our positions have increased, compounded over the years because of all the risks that has unfolded throughout the years of security in our industry. So these are just some topics. If we think about our role, we wear multiple hats. Unless you're in an organization where you're only doing pen testing or some specific rules such as auditing. But if you look at most organizations that are customer facing, and you have a security team, you're wearing multiple hats. I can tell you when I was a CISO at Wellstar Health Systems, we had about 14,000 employees, 5 hospitals, about 200 physician practices, and I had 7 people on my team running, managing an information security program for the whole organization. So we were wearing multiple hats and multiple roles, from a business perspective to a technical perspective. So, and if we think about our workload every day, it's new threats and vulnerabilities. There's new tools, shiny tools we can work with. We've got to learn. There's new and old risks to reviews. There's vendors and customers we have to deal with all the time. And I feel like I'm ignoring you guys on this side. Please, I'll come over here. Connor, I heard you don't like moving around a lot, so I'm trying to, okay. There's lots of audits to conduct, and obviously we have that everyday security hygiene, right? We have to consistently do. We have to patch all the time. We have to, look at vulnerability scans. We have to look at our pen test results. We've got to update our policies. We've got a security awareness training. The list just goes on and on, right? And let me know, I do talk really fast. So, I can slow down. So these are just some topics of why security is hard in our industry and why we can get burned out so easily. So how can we recognize that somebody or yourself is easily burned out? So obviously there's going to be the emotional, fuck this job, excuse my language, I'm tired, I'm just going to go in and do what I have to do and leave for the day. I don't care anymore. I've had employees come to me, and I've heard throughout the other colleagues of mine, you know what? I hope my company has a data breach. Because you know why? If we have a data breach, we get more money, we can hire more people, we get more tools, I've definitely heard that in my industry, working with my colleagues and stuff. And then, there's a thing, you're doing the same thing over and over and over, but you're not making a difference in your organization. I think that's what burns most of us out, especially if you're in a company where you're providing a security program for your organization. You just feel like you're doing the same thing, but you're not achieving. Your program is not actually maturing in itself. And obviously there's a physical stress, you can't sleep at night. And then your managers. Are any of you managers in here? Do you have people that report up to you? You should be looking for these signs in your employees, too, to make sure they're not being burned out, because obviously you don't want to quit because we don't have enough people to hire, right? We don't have enough people in the industry that has the security skill sets. And obviously, if we have people that are burned out, this poses a business risk, a security risk, and potentially a compliance risk. Because if you can't meet the demands of compliance, then you're not secure either. Any questions so far? Okay. Yes?
So I want to address that because I wish my company had a security bridge. I think I'm loud enough. Yeah.
And you can ask questions. I know you tend to forget your questions in the end. So.
Yeah, so I want to come back to this. I wish I had my company have a security bridge. So when the company doesn't care, maybe this company just doesn't need any security.
It's a compliance check at that point, yeah. And that's what most companies are, yeah.
So why do we care more than the company which should want it when it doesn't.
And I'm going to talk about that. Why do we care more? Because we have passion for security. We want to make a change, right? And I will talk about that in our next slide. You can go ahead and continue after I'm cut you off. But I'll talk about it, yeah. So how do we end up here? First off, usually it's a lack of support, right, from leadership and the company and the organization itself. So we feel like we're doing the same job over and over, we're repeating ourselves, but we're not getting anywhere in our company because we're really just a compliance check at the end of the day, right? We're doing our audits as a compliance check. Even though we have all these security issues, it's just a compliance check. We're in a reactive state, not a proactive state. We want to get out of that. We want to have automation in our organization, right? We want to be able to be proactive. A lack of security maturity. I've been at my company for years. I've not made a difference. And why do I keep on repeating myself? I know we say these things over and over. Security awareness trainer. We're saying the same things over and over. It's amazing to me. I've been in this industry for 10 years, and we're still talking about phishing. We shouldn't have to do that. And we cannot keep up with new and existing technologies, vulnerabilities, and threats because there's just too many out there and there's not enough of us out there. And there's no input into the organizational strategy. I think that's very important, and where we tend to fail when we have an information security program is that we don't have any input to the strategy at all, because that tells you that they don't really care about security. They just care about that compliance check again. So what do we need to do? We need to evaluate ourselves. So the first thing I always tell my people, so why did you join information security? A passion, right? Why did you guys join information security? Hopefully not for the money, because we need to talk then. Right? Yeah, it's good money, but it shouldn't be the main choice. So to make a difference in information security, we want to help protect organizations' data. Have fun. And then we like to learn new, shiny things and any others. So you want to evaluate yourself, and if you feel like you are starting to get burned out, you need to go to your manager. Yes? Oh, I'm sorry. It's falling off. It's falling. Right. I can use a mic if you want.
Might be easy.
Yeah? Okay.
I'll just switch this one off. It's okay. Oops.
Okay.
Sorry
we
about
can take
that.
beautiful pictures.
Okay.
Is this on? Can you go? Okay, we're fine. Sorry. Okay. So, when I was talking about evaluating yourself, sometimes you need to think about, also, what is your communication style like? Why fix this? Yeah. Are you effectively communicating to your peers in your organization, to your leadership, that we need to do better in our security program? Am I reporting the correct data? What I tend to find, and when I took over the CISO job, the CISO before me, what he was reporting very technical information to the board and to the compliance committee. So sometimes you need to change that because you need to change it into a financial. It's going to be great pictures, right? You need to turn it into a financial gain, right? Because if you think about security is really just looked at as a cost center to an organization. We're not looked at as an added value to the organization. We're just costing money to them. So all right. Oh, you're in my jacket too. All right, we're gonna. Okay. All right. So I am a mom of 2 boys, and then the mom of a husband, I guess you could say that. So I know how to multitask very well. Yeah, so going back to the data reporting, it's okay. I'm just going to take it off. All right, there we go. We have to report the right metrics and the right statuses in a manner that's the owners of the organization, the board, the people of that organization is going to understand. I was talking to Jenna earlier, working in healthcare. She asked me, says, how did you change, the minds of the people at your organization to get them to effectively learn that security is important to them? What I did was I had my team go out to the nurses and the physicians and actually sit down with them and say, hey, I know you want to get this application and it looks like it'll bring value to the organization and your department, but we want to learn why. So we can better adjust ourselves to figure out what's the best security controls for that application. So it's really about your communication style. How do you communicate effectively? And you have to learn how to communicate to different audiences. You definitely have to change that, because I had a dotted line to IT and we had a love-hate relationship. So I had to go to them and talk the tech talk, but also bring down the compliance bat sometimes because they weren't doing their jobs. Are you following through, and are you talking to the right people in the organization? That's the key. If you're not talking to the right people, you need to figure that out, who that is in your organization. Support. So talk with management, obviously, and managers, you need to do your job, have your one-on-ones with them. What I did was I had tea time every Wednesday with my team. And then, the employees I work with now, we have one-on-ones every weekly, almost every day, it seems. Find support at the organization. Reach out to your information security community here, right? Like us, your chapters, your professional organizations, and even from your peers. And don't look to, and what I also say is, if you want to look to your peers, look for a peer that's not a pen tester, that works just like you in your same division, but maybe go outside of that. Inquire help from a consultant firm. So I can tell you, most organizations, they will not believe you, but they will believe a consulting firm you brought, which is interesting. You're saying the same thing, repeating yourself, but because they have the shiny report from a consulting firm, oh yeah, we should do that. Here's the money for it, So that always helps. And what's great about consulting firms is they're becoming really specialized, so you can find a consulting firm that understands your industry. In the past, it wasn't always like that. It was very generic. Take a break, go on holiday somewhere, enjoy your time off, maybe pursue a different role, and even a different organization. I gave myself a goal as a CISO that within 3 years, if I didn't make a decision, it's going to be time for me to go, because I know they don't believe in the security program and they don't believe what I'm doing. And then managers, and then we already talked about that. Anyway, okay. Keep on going. All right. Information security is not hard. I know I said it was hard in the beginning. It's chaos, but that chaos is exciting and invigorating, and it keeps you going. That's why we love our jobs, and we want to continue to do it. You have a unique skill set, which is very valuable, because look at our industry. We have so many jobs that are open out there, so you can get a job anywhere. That's why I always say you can go look for a job in another organization. Sorry. And you got into this industry for a reason, and we, the information security community, are here for you. So what I want you to do, this is the end of my presentation, turn to your neighbor and say, I'm here for you, buddy. All right. Yeah, I told you I could. Okay. I told you I could talk fast. Yes. Comments, complaints, questions.
Okay.
Because I write somebody always has a complaint.
Thank you for your talk. Thank you for the great presentation, despite all the problems that occurred. I'm just going to go ahead. I have the first question because not going to name anyone, but I have someone that I can think of who might be close to a burnout. What do you think I could do as a friend to help that person?
Well, I mean, you obviously need to sit down with them, take them out for a beer, take them. Is it someone you work with or just a friend?
Acquaintance.
Okay, good. So, because I was going to say, if it's somebody you work with, take them outside your company, go off site somewhere and take them for a beer or coffee and have that talk with them. And then actually, start making them think, well, why did you really join this industry? What do you really want to do? Because I tend to find that we're so, exhausted that we have to know so much, but maybe we need to focus on one particular area. And I did that. I was a security engineer, and then I switched over to compliance, which I love a lot better. I'm sorry. And I'm happier in that role. And I think that's what it is we get burned out because there's such demand on us, but we're not focused on what we really want to do and need to do, and being able to coach that person. Okay. Does that help?
Yeah.
To answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you. Other questions?
Yes. He's got a question. Same guy.
I'll give him my microphone.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for taking too much time. But I think,
I know. I want to get to the beer garden too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like my original question, I don't think it worked, so I have to ask again. I just think that in our society right now, nobody is passionate so much about security as we are. And they have right not to be. There are people who just don't care about security, and that's fine. I mean, if they think that this IoT toy will speak not only to their grandchildren, but also to all of the world, right, with the same words, that's fine. That's what they really want. And I think there are organizations who just need a compliance check.
Yeah.
So this is a explicit decision of management of such companies. That's what they want. That's in which market they are. So I kind of think it's on our place, like understanding that when you're taking such a job, which is like a check job, or which doesn't, I mean, be passionate, help building the Monero wallet, right, and hardware, or change the job where the security is essential for the business. I'm a little bit like, that's not very wise to get burnout because you don't have impact in an organization which doesn't need this impact.
Right.
So, yeah, like, I don't know, maybe some cryptocurrency exchange, security for them is essential for staying there. But I mean, some kind of library, they just don't care, right? So just, that's like the way where to change the job, I guess.
Well, I think in the end, what needs to happen is the company needs to get burned out, right? Unfortunately, it needs to happen. You know, if they're not going to care and it's a compliance check, the company needs to get burned out. They need to learn from their lesson. An incident needs to happen. I know this is being recorded, but it's accurate. You know, you're going to have people and board members and executives that's just not going to care, but they're going to have to learn from the lesson and eventually realize it's a financial risk to the organization.
I think you also need to consider that you might be working at a company that you really like working at. You like the company, and you think that they need the security, but the management board disagrees, and then you're sort of at a crossroads. But that's just my.
And it could also be maybe the managers that's reporting security is not reported it in a manner it should be. So sometimes that person needs to be weeded out.
I would like to react also on him,
or
his reaction, because I think that people there is a lot of misunderstanding in a company because there is no communication.
Yes.
As I told in the healthcare, we think, okay, IT department, I say IT department, not security, IT department do their job so they protect us. So if we are allowed to do something, it's safe. But that's misunderstanding because we don't know. When people hear and understand what is really going on, I think they will react a different way. What she said that she just did, and as I talk to the nurses, talk to the doctors, explain them, work with them, then you will get the movement from inside. And because we want to work safe, but sorry, it's not my way, it's not my work. That I like to think about that and that I see the problem, that's another thing. But nurses and doctors don't need to take care about security. That is job from, we think, IT. But what she said is communication. And I priced it very good. We need to talk to each other and with each other, not go to burnout, but to talk with everyone. And then you can get a result, I think.
Yep. It's just like regulations. We take regs, right? They come out with a new regulation, but they don't really enforce regulations, right? Until 10 years later. That's the same problem. So we know as companies, we knew GDPR was coming around, right? It was here 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, right? We knew it was coming, and they finally stamped that date, May 25th, right? 22nd, something like that. But now everybody's scrambling right now. Oh, shit, we got to get our GDPR program together. When you should already really have a security program in place, you just got to modify it.
Any more questions?
I know it's a very intense topic. I know. I'm an intense person. If you want a CISO, you need a manager, I'm here. No, I'm just kidding. I love Oracle. So
I saw someone pointing, but I didn't see a hand.
Don't be scared.
Yeah. Any questions over here? I'm going to look for questions.
No? Going once?
No more questions?
But you guys can always connect with me on LinkedIn. I have my email address on the PowerPoint. So if you have a private question, want to have coffee or something, we can talk.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thanks.